Told them pipe down, I don't care what's next, I need it right now. And I got it numbers going stupid like they dropped out. What they think they doing, I don't know, but we can find out. Feel like Lewis Hamilton said, go and shut the lights out. Look, if I said it, you already know. They ain't never touching what I'm doing, told them let it.
Welcome to Before the Kickoff, the Daily Iowans weekly pregame show and your #1 source for Hawkeye football. I'm Colin Carruthers.
And I'm Elise Gann. We're going to break down everything you need to know before the kickoff.
Elise, I got to say, last weekend felt like a jumping, hollering time up in Madison.
It really was, Colin. We had a lot of fun up there, jumping around a little bit, but I don't know how else to put it. It was quite the obliteration.
It really was. It was almost a little tough to watch at the end, but let's take a look at what last weekend's game looked like for the Hawkeyes. Let's go up to Madison. Hey there, Herky. How's it going, dude? Take a look in the back there. There's about no students in the student section right before kickoff. Nonetheless, it's game time. Drew Stevens puts up a field goal, 3-0 lead for Iowa early. Hunter Simmons is the quarterback for Wisconsin. His pass tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Bryce Hawthorne's right there for a big man interception, the first turnover of the game. And Kamari Moulton would reap the benefit of it with the first touchdown of the game, putting Wisconsin to sleep early, 10-0 lead for Iowa. A little bit later, Hunter Simmons tries another pass and is intercepted again at the line of scrimmage. Eric Graves, defensive lineman, right there going back the other way, and it's called just short. It's your call there. If he was in for a touchdown there or not, they ruled him short. That would lead to Mark Gronowski sneaking one in for his 8th rushing touchdown of the year. Bucky Badgers there trying to find any way to make some money off this program, selling some Bitcoin to the fans. Hunter Simmons again throws it backwards. Receiver can't catch it. It's ruled a fumble. Iowa falls on it. The third turnover of this game. And Xavier Williams going back the other way yet again for a touchdown. Things go from ooh, the yikes, to even worse for Wisconsin throughout the game. But jump around break. Enough of that cool tradition there, but what's even cooler is Xavier Williams getting the ball again and putting it in the end zone again, giving Iowa the 37-0 lead, leading to these chants from the student section. Well, they're chanting that because this is what the drive chart looked like at the end of the game for Wisconsin. Punt, interception, interception, punt, fumble, turnover on downs, punt, punt, downs, punt, and punt yet again. So Iowa would win 37-0 and take home the Heartland Trophy for their 4th consecutive year.
Well, there's a lot to be excited about with this Iowa team. I mean, you just showed us a bunch of cool stuff right there, especially with Mark Gronowski back in full swing. It seems like things are finally coming together for these Hawkeyes.
They really are, and there's a few other guys back in full swing as well. And to hear about that, we'll send it over to Jake in the newsroom.
Guys, there's certainly not as much drastic change going on with Iowa football compared to Penn State, losing their head coach, losing their quarterback. But that being said, there still have been some significant changes to the roster. For starters, wide receiver Reese Vanderzee will be returning for the Hawks. The sophomore made his season debut last week against Wisconsin and caught 3 passes for 29 yards. Now he's listed as the backup to senior Sam Phillips and could be a huge role in the game.
I feel good. I feel good for the most part. Anytime you come back from injury, you're gonna work back to it. So I'm feeling like I'm working back into it, and I feel really good. So time to work forward.
And on the other side of the ball, defensive tackle Bryce Hawthorne was listed as the starter ahead of the matchup. The sophomore transfer made a remarkable interception against Wisconsin, and he'll be alongside Aaron Graves, who also had an interception that almost resulted in a pick 6. With Iowa's leading tackler Jaden Harrell still out for this week, junior linebacker Jaden Montgomery will be key defensively for the Hawks. He recorded 3 tackles in his last outing, and it led the team against Wisconsin. Guys, with Iowa looking like they're getting even healthier at this time of the season, I think going against a Penn State team that is currently going through a lot of change, they're going to be in a really good position. Colin and Elise, back to you.
Well, thanks for that update, Jake. Still not loving having all those names out for Saturday, but if you want to talk about guys that are out for game day, Penn State just did a whole 180 on that number.
No, seriously, they really did. Penn State is on a very unstable road right now. They lost a very respectable game to Oregon, but they must have unloaded all the gas in that one as they continued to hit massive roadblocks along the way, first getting upset by UCLA where they lost their top 25 ranking. Keep in mind, UCLA hadn't won a single game all year. And then, if Penn State thought that loss was bad, The car officially crashed for the Nittany Lions with a home loss to the Northwestern Wildcats, resulting in them firing 12-year head coach James Franklin the next day. Here's what Xavier Wampa thought Northwestern and UCLA excelled with in their victories.
I feel like they just played a super physical game. They were trying to be the most physical team out there, and they both of them succeeded those 2 weeks, so we're just trying to optimize that and be physical like we were.
Well, at least the big and obvious debate throughout this past week has been whether it was the right move for Penn State to fire James Franklin, which you brought up a little bit earlier, and honestly, I'm not sure if it was the right move.
I don't really know about this, Colin. I think this is something I can decide after this upcoming game, but as of right now, I'm not 100% sure it was the right move. Yeah, your team just lost to two of the weakest teams in the Big Ten. However, your team has also been an absolute powerhouse for the past few years. It's not James Franklin's fault that Drew Aller got hurt. It's just not. But also, as a head coach, you have to guide your team through things like that. So I'm not really 100% sure, to be honest with you, but firing a really successful head coach after two flubs might not be the best decision in the long run.
Well, Lisa, I'm kind of going to have to back you up there with that as well, because I'm not sure if it was the right move or if I really like it at all, because, again, with Penn State going in this year, they had championship hopes. They were in the semifinals last year, and at this point, we're in week 8 and they haven't beaten a Power 4 team. And yeah, he's probably lost a little bit of the locker room at this point, so that isn't a fun look for a team with such high potential, with high expectations. But I think they're going to throw themselves through a little bit of a cycle where they're going to be hiring and firing and hiring and firing and trying to find someone to meet those expectations, and James Franklin might have brought them to their pinnacle, which is unfortunate to say about Penn State because they are such a great program, but I don't know who's going to bring him past that point besides a guy like maybe Nittany, who just signed earlier this week, again, an extension with Indiana. But I mean, we only think so much. There's guys out there with tons of experience like Kirk Ferentz, who's coached against them plenty of times, and here's what he thought about the firing of James Franklin.
It's unfortunate in a lot of ways, I think, and but it's just the world we're living in. It's not going to change. In fact, it's going to change. It's going to keep getting more aggressive, and I'm not being accusatory or judgmental at all, but we live in reactionary times.
Either way, no going back now. They made the decision and now will be led the rest of the way by interim head coach Terry Smith. He's been with the program the entirety of the James Franklin era, and this was his 5th year as associate head coach. He's also been serving as the team's defensive recruiting coordinator and cornerbacks coach.
Well, I have to agree with you again here, Elise. We're pretty much on the same page right now. But with an interim head coach, it is those two worlds that they could play in. Is it going to be coming out on fire, or is it be laying flat with a new guy in charge? And I kind of think the way this game could go is they'll come out hot out the gate. You know, first drive will be pretty solid for them because they have a ton of athletes on this team. But I think they're going to be pretty flat the rest of the game. I will adjust. They're under the lights at Kinnick Stadium. It's one of the best defenses in the country. I do think this team might give up a little early. Hopefully not to speak ill will on them, but I do think this is a really tough spot for them. And it's even more of a difficult spot than most because in this situation, again, in that Northwestern game, it wasn't just a loss on the scoreboard. Unfortunately, star quarterback Drew Aller got injured in that game and is out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it'll be the first time in 35 games that Penn State will have a different starting quarterback than Aller. They're going with redshirt freshman Ethan Grunkmeyer, who has only had 39 snaps.
Well, before those snaps, though, Elise, he was also a 4-star recruit out of Olentangy High School in Ohio. Not as good as Elder High School, where my brother is playing right now, #1 team in the state right now. Shout out to you, Carter. But Grunkmeyer, 39 snaps under his belt in college. He had 39 touchdowns in his senior season alone at Olentangy. Pretty impressive number right there. Behind Grunkmeyer, though, is one of the best running back duos in the entire country.
Yeah, Colin. Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen are splitting reps in the backfield and splitting every gap on the field so far this season. Katron Allen has 467 yards and 7 touchdowns. Also, when looking at his carries, not a single one has been for negative yardage. He's always finding a way to move upfield. Brian Allen has a special connection to the running back, though it doesn't hold much importance anymore.
Big dudes, they run hard. Familiar with one of them, played them in high school, but they're good players. They've been good players, so it'll be exciting to high school means nothing compared to college.
The other half of this duo, again, is Nicholas Singleton, who led the team last year in touchdowns and yards per carry. He's got 259 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns on the season, but he's also been used in the passing game with 12 catches for 95 yards. The pass game in general may look pretty different with a new quarterback, but it's still worth mentioning who the Nittany Lions have out wide.
Yeah, it really is, because the most notable name out there that we want to bring up would be Trevor Pena. He's a transfer coming in from Syracuse and has been leading the team with 20 receptions so far. He's brought that for 202 yards and 1 touchdown, but has only 36 yards in those last 3 losses. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, at least, talent is the theme.
Yeah, let's start with that D-line. They are just as good as they were last year. As a unit, they average 11.83 pressures per game and 2.4 sacks per game, which is 39th in the country. The most nationally recognized man on the line is Danny Dennis Sutton. He's the returning sacks leader from last year and currently has 23 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks to his name.
When I think about this defense and their talent, the first name I think of is Amir Campbell. Linebacker and transfer from North Carolina. He's been in on more snaps than anyone on the defense. He's a team high 50 tackles, while also leading the team with 24 stops, which, if you're unaware, is just a tackle for negative yardage. His weakness, however, is in the pass game, where he's allowed 19 catches on 22 attempts, but that's where the defensive backs come into play.
Yeah, Colin, the DBs have left 61.8% of passes slip on by for 947 yards and 8 touchdowns this season, which actually puts their coverage ranked 21st in the country. Their preseason All-Big Ten selection, A.J. Harris, has been speculated to be benched in their loss to Northwestern after giving up a touchdown. He's also allowing 13.4 yards per target by giving up 8 receptions on 9 targets. So he'll see if he is still benched come Saturday, and if so, you'll want to look out for junior Elliott Washington. He has been solid with 13 tackles and an interception. He's also only allowed 4 catches against 12 targets. Well, Colin, that might be one of our longest breakdowns ever, but I think we covered it all.
I think we did. We had a lot of names in there because there's a lot of talent still in that Penn State team, even without their star quarterback and their tenured head coach. But lots to focus on for this upcoming matchup, and I want to take a break for a moment from the stats and move over to this week's Kid Captain story from Cole Krieger.
When Micah Norby was 5 years old, his parents started noticing he kept falling down at home and was lagging behind his teammates during his youth soccer games.
It just kept kind of getting worse, and we thought, oh, maybe it's just a phase and he'll grow out of it. And then he was falling like several times a week, so finally we're like, we need to take him in.
A local doctor trip turned into a trip to a pediatric neuromuscular doctor who performed genetic testing. Testing discovered Micah had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a rare, progressive, and inherited muscle wasting disease that primarily affects the male body, a rare disease that affects 1 in every 5,000 newborns.
Micah was pretty weak compared to other boys that had Duchenne or had come in kind of around the same time. So they had presented other treatments to us, and they kind of brought the gene therapy up.
That spring, Micah's parents decided to go through with gene therapy, with an estimated cost being over $3 million.
There was a lot that had to happen. The University of Iowa, they went to bat for us because we got denied the first time, which is a $3.5 million drug. So I don't know, we kind of expected for insurance to give us a hard time.
One day after his 6th birthday, Micah received the one-time infusion, which made him the first child to receive the treatment in the state outside of just clinical trials.
We feel pretty honored that that he, we were able to kind of pave the way for hopefully many other boys.
After some side effects like weight gain and nausea, his condition is now considered stable. The Norby family still visits with Micah's care team on a regular basis for checkups. Now in the 1st grade, 7-year-old Micah Norby enjoys swimming, fishing, and playing with his remote-controlled cars. From the University of Iowa, Cole Krieger, DITV Sports.
Well, thank you for that story there, Cole. Again, beautiful and always great to learn everything about the Kid Captains.
Yeah, always a pleasure to learn about the inspiring journeys like that. But you know what else is a pleasure to learn about, Colin? Some good old football history, and that's why we'll send it to Ryan Paris in the classroom to teach us a lesson.
What's up, class? Dr. Paris back with you after I've been away conducting research these past few weeks, and let's just say I've got a lot to share with you. Now, there's one aspect of Penn State's history that might not be appropriate for a gen ed class like this, so we're going to keep things strictly football related today. This will be the 33rd meeting all-time between the Hawkeyes and Nittany Lions, and despite what recent history might have you think, the series is actually pretty close. Iowa won the first game 19-0 in 1930, and then the two sides wouldn't meet again until the 1970s when Penn State ripped off 5 wins in a row. Iowa eventually took back the all-time lead in 2010, but in recent seasons, it's been a whole lot more of Penn State. And as for the recent couple of games, Iowa won that thriller when both teams were ranked in the top 5 in 2021, but Penn State took the most recent matchup 31-0 in their whiteout game in 2023. And one more factor working in the Hawkeyes' favor is that they are 4-0 in night games this season and winners of 6 straight night games at Kinnick Stadium. All right, guys, remember, we have a midterm on this on Monday, but if Iowa beats Penn State, everyone gets an automatic A. Class dismissed.
Thank you for that, Dr. Paris. I am currently slammed with midterms, but I guess I can make room for one more.
I don't know if I can. I try. Even when we don't have the midterms, I feel like I'm trying my best to keep up with you and the professors on these quizzes, but I'll lock in. I'll hit the library, which I've never been to. Mom and Dad, don't listen to that. But I will hopefully be good on that test. But you know what test I like a little bit more, Elise?
What's that?
I want to look around the Big Ten, see what other competition is going on. So we'll send it over to Cole with a look around the Big Ten.
Thanks, guys. Midway through the year, the Big Ten has given us some crazy moments, from UCLA's resurgence, James Franklin getting fired, and the downfall of the Wisconsin football program. This year has been truly unpredictable. My first game on this week's slate is number 25 Nebraska heading up north to the Twin Cities to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. While Nebraska is the ranked team sitting at 5-1, do not count out this Golden Gopher squad. Drake Lindsey is the man under center for the Gophers, and the freshman is off to a hot start. So far, Lindsey has thrown for over 1,200 yards and has a touchdown-interception ratio of 9-3. Looking over on the defensive side, you have to watch out for a unicorn of a player, that being Coy Parrish. Let me set the stage for you guys. It's homecoming and the game is tied 20-20. Coy Parrish then proceeds to intercept a pass and take it all the way back to the house, calling game against the Purdue Boilermakers. Parrish has shown his ability as a two-way athlete playing snaps of both offense and defense this season. The Gophers will look to upset the Huskers in a Friday night showdown starting at 7 at Huntington Bank Stadium. From the Twin Cities over to the Big House, hail to the victors! As for the second year in a row, we have a rematch of the 2024 National Championship. Last season, the Huskies got the revenge, winning 27-17 in Seattle, and let me say, this Washington team is not to be messed with, as they're one of the most underrated teams in the entire country. They're 5-1 this year and are pissed off that they are not ranked inside the top 25. Their only losses to the number 1 Ohio State Buckeyes, and their quarterback Desmond Williams is playing like one of the best in the nation right now. Michigan, however, is coming off a brutal loss to USC and dropped outside of the AP poll. And so far, true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood has been good, but not really as dynamic as some fans may have thought coming into the season. Kickoff for Washington, Michigan is set for 11 on Saturday. And I don't know about you guys, but I am a geek when it comes to rivalry trophies. The Jeweled Shillelagh is on the line in the historic rivalry between USC and Notre Dame this weekend. If you didn't know what a shillelagh was, well, guess what? I didn't either until this week. A shillelagh is, according to Google, a traditional Irish walking stick and club typically made from blackthorn or oak that has a distinctive knob at the top. Notre Dame leads the all-time series with a record of 52-37-2. And the Irish are going to need a huge win, as they're just one loss away from their playoff hopes being completely tossed out the window. USC is riding high with a 5-1 record and being ranked 20th in the country. Their only loss came to Illinois on a last-second field goal. Kickoff is set for 6:30 Saturday night. That was a look at what's happening around the Big Ten. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Cole. I'm always ready for a football-filled weekend, especially when it comes to Big Ten football.
I mean, what else could you want for the watch on the weekend? Big Ten football is some of the best games you could ever have coming up. But, you know, I could think of maybe one better game than those that were listed. Welcome into this week's game show. Peep the new graphic back here. Shout out to Elise for that one. But this week we're playing headbands on before the kickoff. And if you're unfamiliar how this works, there'll be 2 contestants up here. And one of them will have one of these cards I have here prepared that is printed in black and white because we're college students, so please don't accuse us for anything. But they'll hold it on their head and their teammates will give them a bunch of clues about whichever player that they have held up here and try to get them to guess it within the 20 seconds allotted. So first, we'll have Elise and Jacob here trying to guess their Iowa Hawkeyes and Nittany Lions.
Okay, starting quarterback Penn State.
Drew Aller.
Bang!
That was such a tough
Whoa!
Oh, whoa.
Everyone beware.
Whoa, guys, we're off to a really hot start with that one.
Penn State backup quarterback.
Ethan Griglemeyer.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Iowa's wide receiver that's just coming back from injury right now.
Reese Vanderzee.
True freshman running back number 25 for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
TJ McNeil.
No. It was same last name, first name starts with an N.
Nathan McNeil.
Yes.
Who's TJ?
Offensive lineman, he's a 4-star that they just got.
That they just got?
Yes. No, he's playing. He's starting.
Offensive lineman.
He's next to Stevens. He's 59.
Great?
No, he sounds like Luck.
Locke.
Yeah.
Locke. Nice.
I'm counting that.
Trevor Locke. Trevor
Yeah,
Locke.
but
Linebacker.
Jay Montgomery, Carson Shar,
Other one. White.
Jackson Rexroth.
Yes.
Yes.
Always love seeing you guys compete in another game show, but I like seeing you guys try to compete for this as well.
Yeah, Colin, I don't really consider that a game. I take this very seriously, and I don't love the fact that you have this belt right now.
I do. I enjoy it, and I think it's a nice thing to have right here. Not trying to brag, not trying to shove it in anyone's face. I think it's just nice to have. It's fun, and I'm enjoying it very well. So I want to see if I can get it back, but first let's see if Jake can earn it first. We'll send it over to the newsroom for our first prediction between Penn State and Iowa.
guys, there was a time where comedian Keegan-Michael Key impersonated head coach James Franklin as Penn State's head coach, and honestly, that's kind of their current situation with their head coach. There's no chance they're going to be able to take on Iowa in their home stadium and beat them. I have Iowa winning 30-10 final score.
When I look at Penn State, I don't fear them. I look at them with pity. This is no longer a trap game for the Nittany Lions. It's a trap game for Iowa. Drew Aller, he's watching from the sideline. NFL future in jeopardy. James Franklin, he's unemployed, $50 million richer. Good for him. What's left over is a decent team, but they're without their most important player and their head coach. I've got Iowa winning 23-17. Interim coach Terry Smith will have the Nittany Lions ready to go, but after losses to UCLA and Northwestern, not exactly the class of the Big Ten, I have no doubt in my mind that Iowa will win this one. Cole, who are you taking?
Well, Cole, if you told me before the beginning of the season that the Iowa Hawkeyes are projected to beat the Penn State Nittany Lions, I would have told you you're crazy. Sure, I'd be optimistic and probably would have gotten my hopes up unrealistically, but deep down I would think you're nuts. But now, that's not a crazy concept, and my hopes are actually realistic. I've got the Hawkeyes giving Terry Smith a not-so-warm welcome in Kinnick Stadium, dominating the Nittany Lions 32-10. Yes, I have Iowa breaking 30, and yes, I am that confident in this team to do so, so let's see it, Hawks.
Well, Lisa, I've got to pretty much be right alongside you here because just like my friend Jack Raczynski told me, Iowa is the Paris of the Midwest. I'm not sure exactly what he meant by that, but it's going to be a hard time stepping into Paris and walking out with a win for Penn State. They've got an interim head coach, which honestly I think makes it a little bit scarier for Iowa in this instance where they're favored, puts a little bit more pressure on them, but I don't have much faith in Ethan Grunkemeyer moving the ball downfield too much, and I have Iowa winning this game 33-10. Well, Lisa, you like how close our scores are this week?
I just love it, Colin. I'm totally looking forward to this game.
As someone who spends a lot of time around you, that was pure sarcasm if it didn't come across pretty well. But, I mean, that just means we're on the same page. That means it might be more likely to happen if two of us are thinking that, right?
Yeah,
Positive.
I just hope it happens my way, not yours.
Nope, but we'll see on Saturday who is a little bit closer or if it's one of the other three that joined us today. So thank you, Jake, Cole, and Ryan for joining us and our entire tech crew, and you for tuning in to Before the Kickoff.
Make sure to check out the Daily Iowans website and YouTube page for all the latest on Hawkeye sports and coverage of this weekend's game. From the University of Iowa, I'm Elise Gann.
And I'm Colin Critters. Have a great weekend, everyone.